so impressed. I'm like, wait a minute. Since when is Cody, a.k.a. Poundcake, a sports talker?
Yeah, best sports talker.
Best in Cleveland.
Boy, he made your boy Goldhammer's head explode over that.
I'm sure.
He was displeased.
I'm sure, yeah.
If you're watching the show at AlanCoxShow.com, tip of the cap to Dondi Lickelstein for helping out today in the video department. Much appreciated.
Bridget's so confused by so many things that we do.
I know. This is a hard show to just dip in on and dip back out, but that's okay.
You guys can tell in my face, and I just smile and nod at you guys.
I don't know what Dondi Lickelstein's about.
Sure don't.
No, but Dondi Lickelstein knows what you're about, and that's really the important part. Voicemails, you can always leave those for us anytime you like. The Alan Cox Show After Hours line is 216-986-8903.
Guys, I'm calling. I was listening to the Poundcake Disability.
He's Bill in South Jersey. He calls us quite a bit. Sometimes he leaves his
I
name.
was listening to the Poundcake Disability discussion on the show yesterday. So I'm going to take a little bit of license here and claim that I'm going to ask this question on behalf of the entire audience. Pay Brown for what?
Hey, that's not bad.
Pay Brown for what?
Mm-hmm. Pay Brown for what? That's a good question.
Pay Brown for what? Pay Brown for what?
Yeah, that's a smart move, boy. Poundcake's made it clear that his goal is to get on disability. And so, thank you, Bill there in South Jersey. What?
Nothing.
It's a good move. We've got some thoughts.
Pay Brown for what? Pay Brown for what?
Any movement on that front, by the way?
No.
Oh.
They still want to prove me yet. I'm too able.
You're too able.
Too reliable? Too
reliable.
able?
That's what,
yes.
That's what he was always saying to us, is that he's just too reliable. That's why I didn't want to go to certain work events, because he's too reliable.
I don't want them to expect me to be there.
Right.
Did you and Cody know each other at the University of Akron, or you just knew of each other?
No, we knew each other.
So has he been like this the whole time?
Okay, so I will say I wasn't sure if it was like a radio personality type thing or if it was really him. It's really him.
Oh, yeah, it's really him.
Which I appreciate.
There's not a lot of artifice around here.
No, I really appreciate it, because sometimes you'll meet people that you either see on TV or on social media, on the radio, and they're a completely different personality than when they're on.
Name names.
No, we can't do that. I don't want to get myself in trouble. And so I appreciate it when I meet people like you guys, and then when we turn off the microphones, you're still the same people. And Cody is definitely that. Which
what you see is what you get with Poundcake.
Yeah. As you guys have learned from the show, I don't like to do a lot of work. And coming on here and acting, that would be a lot. And I would forget to turn it off or turn it on.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that. I wanted to ask you, I think we worked together one time, and I want to know if you remember. Do you remember us working together or that day at all?
Is this ZTV related?
No, this was WZIP. You came over to the radio side.
I know, I did.
Okay, yeah.
I think I did like one show.
Yeah,
you went slumming with the radio folks for a little bit.
I did.
Honestly, that's
with DJ Cobra.
It was back when I was program director, and they would shadow, like if you wanted to learn on air, you would go with an on-air DJ during their shift, and they would essentially train you. Bridget came in. I don't know if she had some type of event coming up where she had to learn how to, maybe an interview or something where she had to learn the board. So she came in during my shift, and I just trained her on the board. And I remember, and I just want to say that she is real too. She's not putting on an act. She's real honest, because this is like back in the day. So back then, WZIP only had like one.
We're just going, please, just.
I'm like, oh no, what did he say?
Yeah, exactly.
No. She's real honest, because WZIP only had like one phone line. I'm sure they probably have changed it now. But we used to do like underwriting and do giveaways like we do on this show. But we would say, for whatever reason, they're like, oh, caller 30. I'm like, I'm not answering 30 calls. Like, number one, hey, you're my winner. I said, Bridget, you don't have to. When she was on my shift and she gave away like some prize or whatever it was, I'm like, Bridget, you don't have to answer every single call. She's like, no, I want to be honest. And she just answered every single call. Sorry, you're not the winner. Sorry. And I'm like,
that's nice, but that's how you jam yourself up going caller 30.
It was something like
that's why I always do caller 10. I'm like, I don't need Poundcake on the phone telling people they didn't win for a half an hour.
I don't know why we did it that high, especially because we only had like one phone line. But that was my.
And you probably had 20 people listening.
No, we had a lot of
we're
listeners.
the number
I understand.
one.
I understand. I know. I understand that. But I'm just saying, like, at any given time, there's probably not that many people listening to win a giveaway, are there? Like,
You'll
what were the
never know
tickets?
You'll never know how many listeners you have until you give away something for free.
True.
Yeah, okay.
And-
Especially college kids.
And Cody, I do remember this. So there was a class I went to school for mass media communications. I minored in sports management, but part of one of my classes was learning the radio side of things.
So that's what it was.
And
yeah.
I remember it was your final project. You had a choice. You could either host an hour interview, like an in-depth, like serious interview conversation, or get trained on how to do the boards and be a radio host. I'm like, well, I like to be versatile. I would like to be a radio host too.
The hour-long interview would have been on camera. That would have been on the TV side.
No, it was radio.
Oh, both of those choices
I would
were
have
on
to,
the
like,
video.
Studio production and radio production.
Yep.
I know I had to. So I don't.
And so that was my choice. I'm like, well, I'd rather get cleared to run the boards
Run the
and be
board
on
and all that
air.
stuff, yeah.
And so, yeah, Cody trained me.
Listen,
It's
He's
just
There we
wild.
are on a radio show.
It's just wild him thinking like him training anybody to do anything.
well, Poundcake's the only person I've ever had on this show who had prior radio experience. He's the only other person besides me that's ever been on this show that had prior radio experience.
He was the king of WZIP.
That's what he says.
It's true.
That's how he describes it. And now she's co-signing on you, Cody.
I am.
I appreciate that because there was people that loved me, and there's people that tried to knock me off my throne.
His throne.
There was some people there that
People
did
are
not,
this audience is especially terrified to consider him in any position of power.
No, I think people were just jealous of you, Cody, because they wanted to be the king of or queen of WZIP, and he just held that title.
But you did it how, Cody? You got there because nobody else wanted to do it, or you
No,
really?
that's not. I don't know why. So I started my sophomore year of college, and I was doing like the early morning shifts, the shifts that no one wanted to do, and. Looking back on it, I'm like, that was drive time, 7 to 9 a.m. People are going into class. And Bridget, I don't know if you stayed on campus, but if you were a commuter, those are like all the early classes.
Yep.
So people are in their cars.
Were you living on campus in college?
No, because I'm from Greens, so
She's
I was
smart.
a
That's
commuter.
like 20 minutes
Okay.
away.
Right.
But yeah, so I would take those shifts, and the current, like the DJ director at the time, just saw something in me. Like he knew how passionate I was about it. And as a junior, I became DJ director because he was graduating, and it pissed off a lot of people because they thought they were going to get that spot because they were there a lot longer. Like there were people, super seniors or, people who had been in the program longer. And I think I was only 1 or 2 years in. And so they're like, oh no, that's BS. So they tried to get me fired. They plotted against me. They was trying to sabotage.
See, I didn't know all this was going on the radio side of things. I was still over.
It was a real Game of Thrones situation over there behind the mic. Who knew?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
They were all, everyone, wanted to work professionally in radio. And they didn't, it was hard for them to look at me, someone who was just coming in, like I knew what I was talking about. And to be honest, I guess I didn't, but I was going to do my job. If my job was to critique your demo and then I did it, they were like, okay, well, I'm not about to listen to you. I'm like, okay, well, don't listen to me then. I'm doing what I think is best. Ask someone else. And then they would go like, I think the only people there were like the actual directors of the station. They were like hired people like from the school. So they would go there and they were like, yeah, whatever Cody said. They would be
Yeah, because they didn't want to deal with it. They were like, yeah.
They're like, he's the DJ director. They're like, no, forget that. I'm like,
And look at you now.
Look at you now.
Best sports talker
By the
Cleveland
readers of
Scene.
Cleveland Scene magazine.
and you know where that
And
came
on the
from?
Alan Cox Show.
That's right.
You know how this all happened, Bridget, was because of the Sports Power Talk. They would come in, they would host a Sunday or Saturday or Sunday show.
Uh-huh.
But during the week, they would promote that show and do like 90 seconds of sports during my shift. And so it would always be the cutest guys too. Like the cutest guys were all, if they did radio, they were in sports. It was always like the jocks or like they would minor in like athletic training or whatever.
For sure.
And so they would come in during my shift. I'm like, you can go on. And then, I ain't hear nothing they said. I was just looking at them for the next 90 seconds.
Athletic shorts.
And then I'd play
guy.
their little sounder.
Uh-huh.
And then they would be off. And I said, I wonder if they're still working in media as of now, like doing sports. I said, I don't know if I could do that. And Bill was like, I bet you can. And he paid me like $20. And then this is how it all started.
Wow. And now you're the
Look at
best
you
in
now.
Cleveland.
He's the
I
best
forgot my role
sports
in this.
talk.
I'm sorry.
I know,
I
Bill.
apologize.
Yeah,
I
your fault,
apologize
Bill.
to everybody.
You're an enabler.
Yeah.
You are responsible for this monster he's become.
I think it was 50.
So, Cody,
50 was
do you get like a fancy award?
Well, we're supposed to have a Best of Cleveland party, but I think everyone's invited, so I guess it's, you know.
You
Yeah.
gotta buy tickets.
Well, the winners get invited, but I mean, anybody can financially
always
support
is.
Cleveland Scene and get a couple of tickets. And
So
of
no
course,
tr-
that makes him upset.
No trophy or anything, though, to put on display?
I guess not.
In the past years, they would give you like a plaque. Like I've gotten some that, but
You're like a printout of
yeah,
your award.
but I don't know where they are.
I think I read that in your bio. Yeah.
I won some.
Your
I
list
won
of
some
awards.
stuff. Yeah,
But you have to have won things like that along the way, yeah? Or no?
Yeah.
Or yeah, okay.
I was a 30 under 30 for, and according to Radio Inc. a couple years ago.
Radio
That's
Inc.,
pretty-
yeah.
impressive. We just had Matt Rife on. I don't know if you heard of him.
Yeah.
He was here for the Forbes 30 under 30.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit bigger deal than Radio Inc., but
Radio Inc.
they're basically the same thing.
I don't know. You're hating on Taylor Swift. Might as well hate on Matt Rife too.
Listen, I know he's a funny guy that thinks he's really good looking.
He is really good looking.
Is he in real life?
He looks like when Squidward got the plastic surgery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's that good in real
I mean,
life.
he knows. He knows
it,
I think
yeah.
the people who give him a hard time, it's because, one of the golden rules of comedy is you're not supposed to be good looking and funny
Yeah.
because it's hard. A lot of comics are talking about like trying to make themselves relatable or whatever. It's real hard to do that when you're super good looking.
Mm.
But there are a couple of unicorns along the way.
You think I want to
You did
look
it.
like this?
Bill doesn't want all that pressure.
I got hot a few years ago and everybody didn't like my jokes anymore, so I had to get fat again.
That's right. Skinny Bill
Yeah.
wasn't getting
There's crickets out there.
wasn't getting the rolling laughs anymore.
Something to be said for that, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I get it.
So, I mean, Matt Rife seemed to be nice enough. Again,
They're very nice.
I'm not familiar with his work, but I knew who he was, enough to talk to him for 20 minutes. But he was literally walking by and waved through the window, and Bill and Mary are like, that's Matt Rife. And they ran out to grab him, and he came in
And he
and sat
came in.
down.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
and he
is
came
nice.
in. It was very cool of him to do that. Yeah.
Have you ever met a celebrity or had someone on the show, a comedian, and you were like, oh, man, never mind.
We're celebrities.
Well, I know.
Like we were bummed at who they were or what?
No, like they weren't nice, or you were like, oh,
That's
wow,
what I mean, like bummed at how they acted
Yeah.
or. Well, my thought, yes, I have many times. I've been doing this a long time, but my thought is always, I don't know what kind of day they're having.
Right.
True.
Right? Like, I'm sure people have met me. I'm like, what a dick.
Yeah.
But I try to be a cool guy, but it's like you just never know what kind of day
I mean,
somebody's having.
that's honestly my first impression of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I mean, I set a bar and then I try to reach it.
The only thing that's been like nobody's been an overall like super big jerk. Like there's definitely been some people that thought they were too good to be on radio. But the
Adrian Iapolucci did not like me at all.
No, she did not.
She did
But I think she
not.
doesn't. I don't think she likes anybody. Though,
No,
so I
but
think
I'm in that group now.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm in that club.
She wasn't thrilled to be here, but there's been one SNL alum that was a little creepy to Erica when she was still on, and that was probably like the most uncomfortable.
Who,
thing.
Lovitz?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Eric Griffin
Oh, yeah, he was
creeping
too.
up all over.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess I don't remember Lovitz doing that. But
Yeah.
I just assume he's joking with every single thing he does. So but
I just feel like Erica was like pulling back, and he was not reading the room on that one.
yeah, maybe not.
I'm glad that you said the names, though. Appreciate
Yeah.
the name drop.
Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah,
way,
we'll burn
if
bridges.
you-
We don't care.
well, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's just like if you talk to them again. I mean, if he was in here today, I'd be like, yeah, you were in here some years ago, and it was kind of a weird situation,
Yeah.
And they might have been like, yeah, I was drunk that day. Or, again, you don't know where they're
You never
coming
know.
from.
Very
You
true.
just don't know where they're coming from.
It's a great point.
Alan Poundcake is well on his way to disability when you consider his spider spray use and his small dash of the hep. I mean,
Hep?
no, but you were talking about how you just wanted a small dash
You wanted a
of
smidge.
the hep. Yeah, a smidge of the hep just to get on disability.
Just a little. What is the minimum dose required to get on disability?
Yeah, that's right.
Just
Hey,
a little bit.
by the way, congratulations to our bureau chiefs, our listeners in the great state of Alaska. I don't know what the Alaskan state nickname is, and we have a
I believe
handful.
it's the Sunshine State.
Oh, Alaska, the
Yeah.
Sunshine State. For 6 months out of the year, it's the
right?
Sunshine State, and that's at night.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. We've got Jeff in Palmer, Alaska. We've got Cole in Juneau. We've got Andrew in Cooper Landing. We have a few, but today is Alaska Day. And, of course, it marks the day that we bought Alaska from the Russians. Russians were hanging on to, you remember in history class, they called it Seward's Folly. Anybody remember the phrase Seward's Folly?
No, I don't.
Seward was the Secretary of State, and this was the guy who goes, hey, we're going to buy Alaska from Russia. And everybody made fun of this guy. So we got Alaska for $7 million. It's like 2 cents an acre, right? Alaska's very, very
Real big.
Very big. And everybody made fun of this guy.
What would that be in today's money?
I don't know.
What year was it? I'll look up the inflation.
It would have been the late 1800s. I don't know exactly, But again, everybody made fun of this guy. And then like beginning of the 20th century, 30, 40 years later, they found gold. So there was literally a massive gold rush there in Alaska. And today is Alaska Day. So yes, granted.
That was a great history lesson.
It's a shout out for 3 or 4 of our listeners who listen on the iHeartRadio app. But not every day is Alaska Day, literally. It's only October the 18th.
In 2022, 7.2 million would have been worth 151 million, which is still...
That's pretty good for a state.
Pretty good for a big state, too. It got berries and stuff.
Because we're not buying land anymore and calling it states. You know what I mean? That was back when you could do that. You go, hey, Russia, could we have Alaska? It's connected to Canada. We'd really like to bring it into the fold. And I know there's people that want to make D.C. and Puerto Rico states and all that, and I think they should be.
We don't need a new flag.
Huh?
Then we got to have a new flag.
Yeah, but think about
the 50 states just it's a nice round number. 52 states. Just
but the flag manufacturers have to be the ones pushing the hardest to make D.C. and Puerto Rico states. Because everybody's going to need a new flag. Everybody. That's a great business model.
That'll be gold mine for them.
They should be lobbying for more. Hey, let's make the U.S. Virgin Islands a state. They're already our protectorates. We already got them. Let's make them states.
I don't know. There's a lot of people.
If I owned a flag company, every couple of years, I'd be lobbying hard to get a new state. They're like, I won't be happy until there are 78 states.
But you have those religious people that are very against it.
What do they have to do with it?
Well, God hates flags.
Bill, see me after the show, will you? There's an extra. I feel like there's an extra consonant in there or something, and that's
what I saw.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, okay.
I'm dyslexic. What do I know?
God works in mysterious ways. Hey, I got a break here. Bridget Linton is joining us. She is, you see her on the sidelines there. Neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow will keep her from being on camera and telling you what's going on with the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
She's Bridget_Linton8 on Instagram. You're getting some people hitting you up, yeah?
Yes, I appreciate that.
Good for
Thank you for the plug.
We just want to make sure that you have more followers than Poundcake, because that's not a universe anybody wants to live in, where the two of you are at the exact same level of, And I don't even know how many he has. I'm giving him a hard time for no reason. Another $1,000 for you at 4:30. Listen for that keyword from the Buzzard Bookie. I will have those Tony Hinchcliffe tickets for you, too. If his comedy is more your speed, I'll get you a couple of passes coming back.
The Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.